This is the Clear Money Talk podcast, offering up creative solutions for your retirement future through education, choice, transparency, and empathy. Now, your host, CEO and founder of Clear Financial Partners, Tim Claremont.
Hello, and welcome. Welcome to Clear Money Talk. I am your host, Tim Claremont, CEO and founder of Clear Financial Partners, always trying to educate you one concept at a time. Here with our illustrious, wondrous, amazing, phenomenal co-host. I gave you four that time, Tyler Andrews. Tyler.
You can keep going if you want. I was really enjoying that, actually, Tim. Hello, everybody. Happy to be here. Tim and I are energized. We're well rested. We were functioning on East Coast time for a while, but now we gained back an additional 3 hours yesterday, so we got extra sleep, and we're ready to hit this thing strong and hard today, man. What do you think?
We are, yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. Similarly, I was so Tyler and I were in Florida this past week at a conference, listened to economists and got insights from all kinds of individuals about everything from what's going on in the markets and the economy and the world to cybersecurity. Hence the topic for today, which is,
what is cybersecurity and why is it important?
Exactly. What is cybersecurity and why is it important? So we hear the term cybersecurity. You might hear the term hacking, you're worried about getting hacked, or identity theft. All of these things are related. Passwords, all of that stuff on your computers and how you're handling it. The reality is that a lot of our information is just no longer private in the same way it used to be. You can't just stick it in a special folio and put it in a safe in your closet and then try to protect your personal information. As much as many of our clients would like to have that kind of privacy, and they feel like there's an entitlement related to it. There's a feeling of like, I deserve to maintain that privacy, and I totally respect that and I get that. And that is the reality. Privacy is something that is very precious to a lot of people, a lot of our clients, and we take it very seriously. At Clear Financial Partners, when we're working with our clients' information, privacy is critical. But today, in today's day and age, so much of our lives are connected through the internet, through phones, through TV. When you log in for your Netflix or anything like that. I mean, the connected world of things is just different today. And with that kind of connectivity, we have a lot of amazing perks, right? We have a lot of easy ways that we can, watch a show. Tyler and I were just, able to download some movies onto our phone to watch, or some TV shows to watch while we're on a plane. How cool is that? You can control what you're watching. You might remember the old days where you're on a plane, you had that little TV screen on the seat in front of you, and, you were limited to whatever they wanted to show. And a lot of the times the show was like, something you really didn't want to watch, but you just had to watch something anyway, because you just couldn't stand sitting there and staring at the back of the seat for, however many hours you're on the plane. Now you got to bring your own show with you on your phone. And similarly, a lot of other advances in technology have enabled this kind of connected and freely communicating world. Your ability to access your bank information on your phone, your ability to do that on a computer, your ability to transfer funds or deposit. You can deposit checks now by taking a picture on your phone and do an upload of the picture for mobile deposits. I mean, that's something that I didn't see that coming when I was 20 years old, graduating from college back in 1997. I didn't ever anticipate I'd be using a phone to deposit checks. Like, that's cool. But with that, privacy. Privacy is one of those things that we have less of today, and frankly, I don't know that it's going to get any better. I think we're going to have less and less and less privacy over the years ahead. And how do we protect our information from people that are nefarious out there trying to get that information and use it for things that we didn't intend to have it used for? And that's where cybersecurity can come in. And we can't protect everything 100%. There's just no way to do that. But we have to do the best things we can do to try to make it hard for these hackers. It's sort of like, imagine your house or your car. Let's do it this way. You go out in your car. Okay, we all know we're not going to leave our wallet sitting on the front seat of our car and then lock the car, right? Not a good idea. The people walking by the car are like, oh, look, there's a wallet. Smash, your glass is gone. They're going to take your wallet. All right, same, your purse. You got a purse. You don't leave your purse in the front seat. Stick it in the trunk. Take it with you. Put it somewhere where it's not visible. When it's visible, it's easy for people to break in and take your stuff. So all you got to do with cybersecurity is just make it a little harder. so that they can go find the easy wallets that are sitting on the seat, and that's not you, because they're going to go find somebody's wallet and they're going to go access it and they're going to figure out how to get in there. And in this day and age with cryptocurrencies and all that stuff that's out there, you literally have digital wallets where you're saving your money, and they're definitely interested in trying to figure out how they can get to your personal information and actually access your accounts and take your money. And we see that all over the place. So it's take your identity, take your personal information, pretend to be you, access your accounts, get your money. I'm not saying this to scare you. The reality is there are people out there, and that's their entire job. That's their whole profession, is to try to access your stuff. So one of the cool things when we were at this conference this last week is I was able to meet a woman. She's an ethical hacker. So she is it was pretty cool.
That's an interesting job title.
It is.
Yeah.
So she was on a competition where she had to live hack in 20 minutes or whatever, a bunch of other people had to live hack somebody. They give them a random person, and then they'd have to figure out how do they access this person's personal information. And she came in second, like out of all these people. And now she has a profession of going around and teaching people. Companies pay her thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to come in and actually hack them.
Wow.
So they can figure out how to protect themselves from the hacking. And she was sharing some of the easy ways that she can hack people so that we can learn from that to be more secure. And that's what I'm happy to reshare in today's Clear Money Talk by answering that question. What is cybersecurity and why is it important? So what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is keeping your stuff safe. It's not leaving your wallet on the seat of the car inside your computer, theoretically, so that people don't see your stuff unless you want them to see your stuff. Mm-hmm. And there are some low-hanging fruit ways to do that. And we wanted to just get that out there. So as you think about this and you hear about this, you can think of some of these easy ways to protect yourself. And we're always very vigilant about this here at Clear Financial Partners and protecting all of our clients' security and all their information. But there's a constantly evolving world out there, and you've got to be up to date on the most current stuff. So,
yeah, Tim, if I'm hearing you correctly right now, and just so our listeners know, we don't plan any of our podcasts. Like we're not reading off a script. We know our topic, but we just kind of riff back and forth and have fun with it and see where the conversation goes. So I'm actually excited to hear about what you learned at the conference that we were at from the cybersecurity expert, because I didn't hear the same speaker and didn't hear this. So I'm excited to hear about this. But from what I'm hearing from you, Tim, right now is that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when these cybersecurity events are going to happen. And that's something we often share with our clients, because our clients are constantly asking us for advice and tips and ways they can protect themselves in this ever-changing world with cybersecurity, and how we're protecting their confidential information and so on and so forth. And one of the things we say to them is, we're going to do everything we can to protect their confidential information. That's one of the main jobs that we do for them, frankly. But we also have to always disclose that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when these things are going to happen to people. Whether it's a bank account information getting leaked somehow, or a password to their email, or whatever it might be. We see these things happen all the time, unfortunately, for clients and people we know. So hopefully some of the tips that Tim's about to share right now will help some of our listeners mitigate these things ever happening to them. But it's going to happen eventually, whether it's an extreme event or something a little bit more minor. But I'm excited.
Yeah. So there's multiple speakers at these events, and we divide and conquer many times. So many times some of the information Tyler's learning at various moments is not the same information as I'm learning. And so this is an opportunity for me to share some of the things I learned from one of the speakers I got a chance to meet with Tyler. And so I'm sharing it with him live with this Clear Money Talk experience. So you guys all get to hear some of the neat stuff that I got a chance to learn. And Tyler and his wife Olivia and my wife Crystal, the four of us just had a really great time heading out and learning as much as we could. We're always taking our lives and investing in ways of getting smarter for our clients, so that we can know the coolest, newest stuff that can help you and still keep the critical, old school stuff in place that's always working and continues to work. But when things change, we got to be ready to change. So that's one of the benefits that you get in working with us, is we're always out there constantly, trying to be better so that we can be better for you. Yeah. So as far as cybersecurity, so here's some stuff. So the way that most of these hackers are attacking people when they're trying to get to their information is they're breaking in most of the time through the human element. So that's the easy opportunity for them. So any kind of a famous person or a high value target, if your net worth is over $1 million, there's a good chance that you're on their radar. Like whether they pay attention to what you do on Facebook or your social media stuff, or maybe it's not even what you post on social media, but what your friends or your family members might have posted that you guys did on social media. And they can identify like, oh, wow, this person's successful. Well, boom, right there. They know you're successful. Now, maybe you have a high-profile position. Anybody in a high-profile position or a high-profile profession, like financial services, for example, is at a higher degree of risk of getting targeted because people are out there saying, yeah, we want to target these individuals. These individuals are people that we know they have access to more information about money. That could be more financially profitable. So I don't remember who it is that said the quote, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money's at. There was like one of these famous bank robbers from back in the day. I can't remember what it was. I've seen it requoted multiple times. But yeah, I mean, so why do you go to these high profile targets? Because they have more money. And that's what the hackers are going to do. So right away, you're kind of in obviously higher profile or less likely to be high profile. And that gives you one element of it, right? Mm-hmm. That's like, did you park your car on the street or did you stick it in a garage? If you're high profile, you parked your car on the street. So people are going to look at
target,
they're going to look at your car.
Yeah.
So how do they hack you? Well, if you're really high profile, like famous and all that good stuff, they don't go directly at you. They're going to go at everybody that's in 1 degree of separation from you. All of your assistants, your friends, your colleagues, people who they know that those people have personal information about you because your life is such that it requires assistance. And so through those assistants, they can pretend to be you. So I saw live how she was able to mimic a caller ID. So just because if you see a caller ID that says, that maybe you have an assistant, your assistant's name is, Bob Smith or Susan Jones. And every time they call you, it says Susan Jones right on your phone, right? Well, they can pretend that they're Susan Jones and it'll say Susan Jones. Not only can they mimic your caller ID, they can mimic that person's voice.
I thought you were going to go there. That is wild.
It's crazy. So they can record any kind of recording that's out there on the internet of this person speaking. They can actually take that recording, put it into an AI, artificial intelligence, and have it say something completely different and sound very similar. So imagine if your assistant called or was called and was sounded like you, especially they mimic your voice. It sounds like you asking them for something. How quickly is your assistant going to provide that information? You're like, hey, I'm missing this password, or I'm missing this information to get into the bank. I need my help really quick. Bob or Susan, go ahead and give me that. Can you give me that information, by the way, that I have, or whatever it is that you're relying on your assistant for? Your assistant can actually get hacked because they believe that that's you calling and reaching out to them, and it even looks like your caller ID. So that human element of pretending to be someone else is just easier and easier with new AI and technology and everything else. So you have to train your assistants. You have to train the people that are close to you that, hey, you need to verify this is really me if you hear from this kind of stuff. And have policies in place where you're not going to share passwords. You're not going to share social security information between your assistant over the phone or any kind of information like that. You're not going to text that stuff back and forth so that you can protect your privacy and you can protect that. Multi-factor authentication is one of the main ways that you can add an additional layer of protection. So anytime you log into something, if it requires you to simultaneously get a text on your phone or a separate email where you have to notify it separately, where they already know that's a secure device and you have to log in twice, it might be a pain, but that extra element of multi-factor authentication is another way of protecting it. The only way the hackers can get around that is if they could get access to the thing where you're getting the multi-factor authentication. So that extra 2 steps makes it hard. It's taking the wallet and sticking it in the trunk instead of leaving it on the seat.
And frankly, that I feel, I'm in the trenches doing this stuff all the time. That has almost become an industry-wide standard at this point. I mean, I don't know many websites we're using on a daily basis, Tim, that don't have the multi-factor authentication. And if they didn't, it would be a red flag to us. Like, why aren't they using this? Is this a company we still want to work with if they're not going to be protecting all this confidential information to the highest degree possible? So, it started with passwords getting more complex and these websites wanting to make these passwords. Passwords back in the day could be like 1 letter or 1 number, and they'd be like, that works for us. That's cool. Thanks. But then they started making password requirements have to be more challenging, more difficult. Then they moved on to the multi-factor authentication. Frankly, we work with some websites and companies nowadays that have like 2 multi-factor authentications. You got to put in your username and password, do 1 multi-factor authentication, and then do another one. And they're constantly evolving with the way they're protecting this information. So happy you touched on that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, I appreciate the validation and the reiteration, because you do end up in the trenches a lot with that stuff. And, and it's just really healthy to train that human element as well. Teach the people that are close to you how to avoid you getting hacked by teaching them these things. Well, maybe it's not obvious. So I was going to say obviously, but let's say it's not obvious. This might not be obvious to you, but one of the easy ways that a lot of people will hack you is through you clicking a link and opening a link. So if they send an email with a link in it, you get a strange email. Look at where the email's coming from before you just click a link. If it's coming from us, it says clearfp.com and it's T Claremont and everything, you're probably fine. We're not likely to send you links though. Generally speaking, we usually send you content like a thing you can read or PDF or something like that you can open. And then we actually have physical mailings that we were just talking about that earlier today. Physical mailings that we still send to people, old school in the mail, so they can actually see our stuff and hold the paper. Yep. But if you click a link from an unknown email source, that's a way they can access your information. You want to avoid that, avoid downloading anything from an unknown source. And a lot of our spam filters and our antivirus software that are on our computers will protect us from a lot of that. One of the things, though, and I don't know if you've experienced this as you're listening to this and thinking about it, like I get inundated with phone calls of spam junk on my cell phone. And it's not just phone calls. It's emails, phone calls, and texts. And it's all this various ways of phishing. That's what they call it. It's phishing. They're phishing.
PH phishing, not
PH.
FI.
I don't know what the difference is in the PH. I don't remember what it stands for, but you could probably Google it. So
I'll make that a trivia question for you. In the
there you
future
go. That's
sometime.
great. Then I'm going to lose it, so I'll have to learn it later. So when they're phishing, they're reaching out to lots and lots of people, and they're hoping that they're going to click that link. And when you get those random cell phone calls or the scams that are out there too, like you get that call and it's like, hey, this is the IRS, and you're going to get in trouble, or this is the police, and you're going to get in trouble if you don't do this, or you owe all this money, or I am your family member and I'm in Nigeria, right? I need you to get me out, or whatever. All these kinds of scams that are out there to try to get your personal information. They're trying to get you to wire them money or try to access your data so that they can resell your data on the black market in various capacities, and that's very, very real. Yeah. So don't open anything that you don't know who it's from. Don't click links if you don't know who it's from. And then when you get all of that stuff, if you want to filter, one of the things I got turned on to, and I just signed up for them. I don't get paid for any of this stuff. I'm just telling you, I signed up for something called RoboKiller on my phone, and it's like $60 a year or something like that. And it will actually block all of the spam calls that are coming in on my cell phone and the spam texts. Nice. And then for fun, which by the way, if you call my cell phone and you get blocked, I'm sorry, because you're probably going to hear some funny little Kermit singing kind of thing in the background, because it'll actually send these spammers off to some other random choice that you can give them, where like I think Kermit's there doing something like, "Hello, I can't hear you," and like what? Say that. It just keeps them on the phone longer to waste their time, because we can't seem to figure out how to shut this down. So hopefully we can make it annoying to them. It's another way of locking your purse in the car, but then also annoying them for even looking in your windows. So whatever strategy you have out there to try to make your life better, I'd say the biggest takeaway that I got though is just validation for the passwords that Tyler was just talking about earlier. Not only are the multi-factor authentication important, keep your spam and your antivirus software and everything up to date on a regular basis. All those blocking things clear on your devices. Always do the updates. When you do the updates with the operating systems and all that keeps those holes that the hackers will utilize. It'll keep closing those. That's why they keep doing these updates, to try to create new things to stop the people from getting into your stuff. So keep updating your items. But changing those passwords. So if you can use a password manager, you don't have to remember. You shouldn't remember your password. It should be so weird and cryptic that your password manager is remembering the password. And if you just have these cryptic passwords that you can't remember, that's key. I was talking to some other friends and financial advisors from around the world, and they're all guilty of this. As the ethical hacker was on the stage telling us about this, she said, Yeah, it's just one of the chronic things. If you reuse your password for all of these different locations, it's one of the easiest ways for them to hack you. And they might get into something that's very insignificant to you, like maybe a Hulu account or something like that. Maybe you're not really worried if somebody hacks that and checks it out. But if you use the same password there that you use for your bank, they could take that same information and then they could try to apply it, get into your bank account. Before you know it, there's money coming out of your account. So, that's the kind of stuff that you want to have those passwords. You want to change them regularly and you want to make them cryptic. And a good password manager will assist with that as well. So you can, constantly use that, keep that, up to date on a regular basis. So those are, I know that's a lot of stress, and I don't want to fear, I'm not a fear monger. I don't want to scare you. I just wanted to share with you, cybersecurity is about protecting your identification. It's about keeping your stuff private as best you can in this day and age. And then if you do get hacked or there's an identity theft situation, you can do credit monitoring. There's various credit monitoring services that are out there, and just kind of keep an eye on things. You can freeze your credit so people can't open new accounts for you.
Yep.
I mean, there are various strategies that you can apply, and it does happen. And there was a huge hack that occurred earlier this year that affected really huge institutions. I mean, governments, and it wasn't that the institutions directly got hacked. It was a third-party company got hacked, and that third party had all these big institutions as clients, and it made it so that it trickled through to those other institutions. So fortunately, we have not been hacked here at Clear Financial Partners, and that is in no way an invitation to be hacked. Do not hack me by listening to this. I would rather you not do that.
Yeah.
But we're going to do everything we can to just stay current, stay fresh, and protect all of our clients' information, and just do the best to make sure that we're sticking the wallets and the purses in the trunk and not leaving them on the seat. And if we do get hacked, we're going to make sure that that we're going to protect everything as best we can and deal with all that information. And that's just kind of the reality where you're at. So for just the answer?
Yeah, let's do the just answer.
All right, so people who are just looking for the answer, what is cybersecurity? Why does it matter? Or is it important?
Why is it important?
Why is it important? So keeping your information private so that you don't get identity theft occurring, so that you don't end up with people pretending to be you and accessing your bank accounts or changing your information in an unfavorable way. That's what this is about. The key ways to do it: keep your computer system and keep your phones up to date with the most current operating software. Keep your antivirus and spam stuff accurate. Use multi-factor authentication wherever possible, and don't get frustrated with it. Know that it's there to help you, so use multi-factor authentication. Change your passwords regularly and use cryptic passwords. Consider a password manager if it's hard for you to maintain that, and then educate the people that are around you to not assume that everything is as it appears, because they will work very hard to make very convincing emails, convincing phone calls, convincing websites, all to make it look like it's legit, so that you share personal information and personal data with them, and then that's how they get in. That's how they access your stuff. So take those extra steps. And if you don't know what these things are, Google them. Multi-factor authentication. Google that. Figure that out. It's pretty clear, pretty straightforward stuff. Just means you got to check something twice before you log in on a separate separate location. And then change your passwords and don't reuse passwords. That's the biggest takeaway. There's really no reason why any of you couldn't change your passwords and not reuse your passwords. I know if you're one of those culprits, you're sitting here listening to this, you're going like, my password is password. That's not a good idea. You are invited. You're saying, here's my wallet and my my purse,
car keys,
my car keys, and
just
they're
take the whole thing,
and the windows down.
Yeah.
That's not the best strategy. So don't get your stuff stolen by keeping a weak password like password. Use something that's cryptic and chronically changed, and the multi-factor authentication. Just be careful.
Yeah.
When in doubt, don't. Don't click it. Don't
If anything looks weird, just
call and verify separately. If something came from something, reach out to that contact directly from another way. If you got it from an email, give them a phone call. Hey, is this legitimately you? You got a phone call from somebody? Great. Send that person an email if you have their email, or send them a text and say, hey, yes, I'm just checking to see if this is you, or call them from another phone. There are ways for you to verify if it's legit, and just do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, show up on their front doorstep, knock on their door.
That's right. Yeah, look them in the eyeballs. Old school.
Is this you?
This is you. Yeah.
The only thing I'm going to say is it might sound cumbersome and time-consuming to do these things, but I promise you, the amount of time you spend doing these things will be a lot less than the amount of time you would have to spend fixing it if you encounter one of these identity theft situations. I mean, we see people all the time that run into these identity theft. Their bank account got hacked. They're spending hours and sometimes days trying to fix this stuff, opening new accounts, changing all this stuff, and getting it back to where it was before. If they had just had done a little time to keep things current, keep passwords fresh and funky and complicated, they might have been able to mitigate it all to begin with. So
solid stuff. All right, let's move on to the fun stuff. That's it for
fun stuff.
Cybersecurity. What do you got for me today?
Oh, I got a good one for you today.
Okay.
I don't know if it's trivia. I guess it's trivia, but it's more about stumping the nerd. So.
Oh, all right. Stump the nerd. I'm
right.
a nerd, by the way, in case you
All
guys
right.
are wondering.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see how good you know your paper currency and who's on them.
oh my goodness. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, as long as it's U.S. currency, I have a high probability. If
What
you
if
use
I'm like, we're
foreign
doing the
currency
yen or
with paper, I'm
something?
like,
Yeah.
I don't know who's on foreign currency.
No,
all
we're using domestic
Okay,
currency
all right.
in the
Domestic
U.S.
currency. I at least have a 60% chance.
I'm not going to ask you who's on the penny or on the nickel, but
that
I am
would've
going to
been-
ask you.
I would have liked that better, but go ahead.
dollar bill. Who's on it?
The dollar bill?
Dollar bill.
George Washington.
Boom.
So yeah,
One down.
George Washington. All right, the dollar bill, George Washington.
The less frequently found $2 bill.
Oh, I think that's Thomas Jefferson.
It
I'm
is
pretty
Thomas
sure Thomas
Jefferson.
Jefferson's on
Yeah.
a $2 bill. So yeah, that's
work.
right. Cool.
You know what's coming next? $5 bill.
That's just like Abraham Lincoln, just like the he's also on the penny, right? So he gets two currencies.
He
right?
does,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
You
the
got
penny
that
and
one
the
right.
$5 bill. Abraham Lincoln.
Boom. All right. 3 down. $10 bill, Tim.
Oh man, this isn't trivia. This isn't one question. This is multiple questions. All right, $10 bill.
And I believe
I know the 20 is Jackson's. You're probably going to get there later
You got
anyway.
that,
So I'm
yep.
trying to remember the $10 bill. Who is on the $10?
If it helps, this guy was not a president,
Not-
but he was a significant figure back when they were deciding who to put on the $10 bill.
Well, I know we have on the currency. I'm just trying to assign them and mixing and matching now. So I obviously, you get the Benjamin Franklin at the $100 bill. So
right.
people talk about the Benjamins all the time.
That's right.
And the $20 bill is the Jacksons. People talk about the Jacksons. And
That's
then
right.
you got the $50 bill, which I know that Alexander Hamilton is on one of these bills, but I don't know if it's on the 10 or the 50 or even a higher bill. I am feeling $10 bill. Was it? Oh man! All of you are sitting there with $10 bills, and you're like, you just already know. You're just, I am not remembering who's on the $10 bill right now. The 50, and I want to say Theodore Roosevelt's on one as well, but that's later on. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't. And then isn't like Grover Cleveland on one of these? But he's a president. Oh, I don't know. $10 bill. I don't. You're stumping me. I think
You're stumping the nerd?
Yep, you're stumping the nerd. I don't.
$10 bill is Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, is it Alexander
Yeah.
Hamilton?
So
All
he
right,
wasn't
good.
a president, but he's on the $10 bill.
Got
do
it.
you want to shoot at the 50 something?
Shoot at the 50.
What you got?
I can see his face with the beard.
The glasses and
Yeah. It feels. He looks the way I pictured Roosevelt, but I don't. So Hamilton is on the 10.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm trying to. I couldn't say it with confidence.
This is the toughest one if I were doing this.
It's not Grover Cleveland. I would go, but that feels wrong too. But
I don't even know who that is, frankly.
it's okay. You can look it up. So I don't know a lot about him. I just know he's on. He's on some bills.
Ulysses S. Grant.
Grant,
is on the
of
50.
course.
Yeah.
Ulysses S. Grant. On the
You were
50.
saying there's higher
Yeah.
denominations than 100.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, you can.
They don't print
They
them
have
anymore,
no,
though.
they don't print them as much anymore. But yeah, there's a $500 bill and there's even a $1,000 bill.
That would
And,
be cool.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool. So in fact, technically, I think they pulled them out of circulation, so they're not technically supposed to be able to be spent. But the reality is, I think collectors will still pay full price for them. I mean, they don't necessarily pay extra for them. Or they might pay a little extra for them, but generally speaking, you can usually find somebody to purchase those bills at those levels if they're legit.
Interesting.
But yeah, I can't remember who's on the 500 and the 1,000. You can Google that and check that out.
Yeah.
Let's see. We already covered. We covered Washington. We covered the $2 bill. Yeah. I wanted to say because we said Jefferson was on the $2 bill. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. Thomas
Yeah.
Jefferson, $2 bill.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln, $5 bill. Alexander Hamilton on the $10. Andrew Jackson on the 20.
Right.
Ulysses S. Grant on that 50 that we were just talking about. And then Benjamin Franklin on the 100.
On the 100, there we go. So,
Call
and
Franklins.
you'll have to Google the $500 and the $1,000
Yeah.
bills to see who's
Call
on
us
them.
if you figure it out. Let us know.
Yeah, there you go. Send me an email,
Yeah.
or you can call us and leave us a voicemail.
How do they
even
get a hold
at,
of us?
Yeah, that would be by picking up the phone.
Yeah? What do
And
they
then
call?
dialing our number.
Yeah. Who do they call? Tim and Tyler.
Our number is 503-579-1000. Easily memorizable, and then you can tell all your friends as well. 503-579-1000. Give us a call. I would love to chat with you, get to know you, listen to whatever you have to say. And you can always check us out on our internet, on our website, which is clearfp.com. So our company, again, is Clear Financial Partners. This is Clear Money Talk. And Clear Financial Partners is abbreviated on the internet for our website, ClearF as in Frank, P as in Peter.com.
And if you learned something smart about money today, go to somethingsmartaboutmoney.com and hit that button, smash that button.
Yeah, let us know. If you say, yes, Tim taught me something smart about money today, even if all it was is who's on the $50 bill, which we all learned together today, Ulysses S. Grant. So
That's right.
if you learned something smart about money today, we're trying to teach 1 billion people on this planet something smart about money, and we're doing it one person at a time. So please, by the way, if there's like 4 or 5 of you listening to this, you're all in the car together, each of you can go to Something Smart About Money and identify that you each learned something. So every human being on the planet, our goal is to teach as many of you something smart about money so you don't make mistakes that we've already seen other people make.
Yep.
And that's the whole point. So why make a mistake other people have already made? Let's avoid those mistakes together and just have that much better of a life.
I like it.
All right. And that brings us to a close.
Till
Hope you
next
enjoyed
time.
Clear Money Talk. Till next time.
Investment advisory services are offered through Clear FP Advisors, LLC, or registered investment advisor. Securities are offered through Clear FP Securities, LLC, member of FINRA IPC. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments may fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Timothy Claremont is licensed in your state, please contact his office. Clear FP Advisors, Clear FP Securities, and Clear FP Life LLC are not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide tax and/or legal advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Clear FP, LLC NPN number 194283777 and/or Clear FP Securities NPN number 197499604. Any discussion of general investing strategies or specific securities are for conversational purposes only and should not be taken as a guaranteed endorsement or recommendation.